biggest keys to getting off to a good start and then being able to sustain that?
Yeah. Like you said, we have to get off to a good start. And that's the biggest thing that we've struggled with the last few games, or I mean, this whole entire season, is that strong first start. And I think it starts with our defense. I mean, when we are aggressive on the ball, in our press, just flying around everywhere, we look so good and we're really, really hard to go up against. And then our offense is generated from that. So I think it starts with our defense with that one.
You feel confident that there's going to be improvements made, and maybe what it's kind of a weird, you get almost an extended break here to kind of work on some things. You feel good about maybe the time that you've spent here?
We've had some good time to just like rest our bodies because, I mean, we've been going nonstop for a couple months here. So that extra few days to just recover, but then to also really have a good practice on Monday, because that's normally like a little bit of a rest, shooting, review some stuff, watch film. But we really got down on it on Monday and worked on our defense. So that was good preparation for what's next for us.
Was that what stood out most when you put on the OSU tape?
Yeah, we just got to take care of the little things and not dig ourselves a hole, because we know our offense is going to come. Like we're a very talented team when it comes to offense, and when we get stops defensively, limit teams to one shot, I mean, we're unstoppable going down the other end.
This is a road trip where some years when Stanford's on the back end, there's a fear of kind of looking to that game. Is it fair to say with the way things have been going for you guys the last couple of weeks, you can't really afford to take that mindset?
We're honestly been focusing on Cal. That's been our number one focus all week. We know Stanford will be a tough game on Sunday, but so is Friday's game. And that's the one we're focusing on right now.
You've been in this conference for a while, and as Rob kind of alluded to, that it had been kind of a one-game road trip at times with Stanford and Cal. Cal's really improved, though. So kind of what's been the balance of what you said, kind of focusing on them, but also knowing a big game a couple days
Right.
later?
I mean, Cal has done an amazing job of just bringing in awesome players to that program. And like you said, it used to be just focused on Stanford. But it's the Pac-12. Every single game is going to be tough. We've seen that this season. We can't take games lightly and have to really punch for a full 40 minutes. Like you can't take little breaks in third quarter and expect to come back and finish, which has been what our problem is we're losing by like 2, 3, but those are all possessions that could have been taken earlier in the game. So despite Stanford being a really, really tough competitor, we're focusing on Cal.
I feel like you guys have, because it kind of reached that part of the season where there has to be urgency, both where you guys are in the standing, but also just in terms of getting to your goals. Do you feel like the team's kind of understanding that? And it's been a tough couple of weeks, but is there reason for optimism in terms of understanding what you guys need to accomplish?
Yeah, where I have some hope in this is when you watch us, when we're down, we actually play a lot better when we just play harder, which should not be the case at all. Like we want to come out guns blazing, just bring that energy all game, but that hasn't necessarily been the case. And so we have to be aware of that as our part of who we are. And now that we've dropped out of the top 25, I think there's definitely a hunger in us to really show what we are capable of and do it for the entire game.
What's the key to getting Grace kind of going again? She was such an instrumental part for so long. The last couple of games kind of had a hard time. What do you think there? Yeah.
Every player has their ups and downs. I mean, like, you can look on my career, you can look on Indy's career, and Tahina's. Like, basketball is a game of momentum and ups and downs. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect game. So we're just encouraging Grace every day in practice. We know what she's capable of. She knows what she's capable of, and it's more of a positive reinforcement. Just like, be who you are, girl, and we're right there along with you. So I trust in her. She's gonna come through, but we're also not putting pressure on that. Like, she's a freshman, and we don't need to be placing all the weight on one person's shoulders, two person's shoulders. We have full 9 players that are completely capable of taking care of business and bringing all that they can to this team. So I think that's what's special about us.
you look at some of the games that you guys go through and it's like a roller coaster. Like you get down and then you come back. So is there anything that you've been doing in practice to kind of keep that constant pressure the whole way through so you don't get caught in a situation where you're just coming up short because of maybe some stuff that happened earlier in the game?
Yeah. Ideally, we don't want to be riding this roller coaster. But again, like we are a young team and we're still figuring out each other and like leadership and growing. So we're just like constantly growing throughout the season. But definitely things have been made known of like where we need to improve to be more consistent. So I think that's the name of our game right now is like be consistent in our talk, in our effort, in taking those like 50-50 balls. Like we tend to either go after them or just leave them to the other team. So those little possessions, the little details, they really matter. And when we bring our mental energy to the game, we look really good. So I think it's that mental energy, effort, and just that leaving it all on the court and being for one another.
You mentioned the rankings. Sorry, you want to follow up? Go ahead.
No, go.
Okay. You mentioned the rankings, but and KG has mentioned too that you guys aren't the hunted anymore. You guys have to be hunters. Like, have you noticed a mentality change? Do you guys need to have a mentality change based on just how things have been playing out?
We do. I mean, that's what the best players do is that they're constantly hunting, no matter where they rank. They have that tenacious mentality to just like go eat every single day. And I think this week was good for that. Of course, we have those moments, those dips where we have to like, hey, bring it back to reality. We're sucking right now. Like, it's okay to get on each other's butts and like, let's take care of business here and do better in this drill. So it's an awareness piece and then like doing something about it, not just waiting for each other to say something, to act. It's like taking that accountability on yourself and then putting it on your other teammates. And we all love each other. We all want the same thing. We all want to win. So just being receptive to that feedback and going out and doing it together and staying as a team is something that's important.
I know those little details are something you're talking about. Well, what of those little details specifically are you hoping to get out of this next game on Friday to kind of build off of in the next game?
Right. We want a strong start. I mean, I don't know if Kelly said anything, but we sprinkled in some new defense stuff to bring into this game to hopefully get our mindset in the being in attack mode. And so I'm excited for that, to see what comes of that, and hopefully that changes some things around for us to just start games better.